pages 1 through 18 of The Recluse. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Andrea Fiore. The Recluse by William Wordsworth. Pages 1 through 18. Part First. Book First. Home at Grasmere. Once to the verge of yon steep barrier came a roving schoolboy. What the adventurer's age hath now escaped his memory, but the hour, one of a golden summer holiday, he well remembers, though the year be gone. Alone and devious from afar he came, and, with a sudden influx overpowered at sight of this seclusion, he forgot his haste. For hasty had his footsteps been as boyish his pursuits, and sighing said, "What happy fortune were it here to live!" And if a thought of dying, if a thought of mortal separation, could intrude with Paradise before him, here to die, no prophet was he, had not even a hope, scarcely a wish, but one bright pleasing thought, a fancy in the heart of what might be the lot of others, never could be his. The station whence he looked was soft and green, not giddy yet aerial, with a depth of vale below, a height of hills above. For rest of body perfect was the spot, all that luxurious nature could desire. But stirring to the spirit, who could gaze and not feel motions there? He thought of clouds that sail on winds, of breezes that delight to play on water, or in endless chase pursue each other through the yielding plain of grass or corn, over and through, in billow after billow, evermore disporting. Nor unmindful was the boy of sunbeams, shadows, butterflies and birds, of fluttering sylphs and softly gliding fays, genii and winged angels that are lords without restraint of all which they behold. The illusion strengthening as he gazed, he felt that such unfettered liberty was his, such power and joy, but only for this end, to flit from field to rock, from rock to field, from shore to island, and from isle to shore, from open ground to covert, from a bed of meadow flowers into a tuft of wood, from high to low, from low to high, yet still within the bound of this huge concave. Here must be his home, this valley be his world. Since that day forth the place to him, to me, for I who live to register the truth was that same young and happy being, became as beautiful to thought, as it had been when present, to the bodily sense, a haunt of pure affections, shedding upon joy a brighter joy, and through such damp and gloom of the gay mind as ofttimes splenetic youth mistakes for sorrow, darting beams of light that no self-cherished sadness could withstand. And now 'tis mine, perchance for life, dear vale. Beloved Grasmere, let the wandering streams take up, the cloud-capped hills repeat, the name. One of thy lowly dwellings is my home. And was the cost so great, and could it seem an act of courage and the thing itself a conquest? And who must bear the blame? Sage men, thy prudence, thy experience, thy desires, thy apprehensions, blush thou for them all. Yes, the realities of life so cold, so cowardly, so ready to betray, so stinted in the measure of their grace as we pronounce them, doing them much wrong, have been to me more bountiful than hope, less timid than desire, but that is past. On nature's invitation do I come, by reason sanctioned. Can the choice mislead, that made the calmest fairest spot of earth with all its unappropriated good my own? And not mine only, for with me entrenched, say rather peacefully embowered, under yon orchard, in yon humble cot, a younger orphan of a home extinct, the only daughter of my parents dwells. Aye, think on that, my heart, and cease to stir, pause upon that and let the breathing frame no longer breathe, but all be satisfied. Oh, if such silence be not thanks to God for what hath been bestowed, then where then shall gratitude find rest? Mine eyes never fix on a lovely object, nor my mind take pleasure in the midst of happy thoughts, but either she whom now I have, or who now divides with me this loved abode, was there, or not far off. Wherever my footsteps turned, her voice was like a hidden bird that sang. The thought of her was like a flash of light, or an unseen companionship, a breath of fragrance independent of the wind. In all my goings, in the new and old of my meditations, and in this favourite of all, in this most of all, what being, therefore, since the birth of man, had ever more abundant cause to speak thanks? And if favours of the heavenly muse make him more thankful, then to call on verse to aid him and song resound his joy. The boon is absolute, surpassing grace to me hath been vouchsafed. Among the bowers of blissful Eden this was never given nor could be given, possession of the good which had been sighed for, ancient thought fulfilled, and dear imaginations realized, up to their highest measure, yea, and more. Embrace me then, ye hills, and close me in. Now in the clear and open day I feel your guardianship, I take it to my heart. 'Tis like the solemn shelter of the night. But I would call thee beautiful, for mild and soft and gay and beautiful thou art, dear valley, having in thy face a smile, though peaceful, full of gladness. Thou art pleased with thy crags and woody steeps, thy lake, its one green island and its winding shores, the multitude of little rocky hills, thy church and cottages of mountain stone clustered like stars, some few, but single most, and lurking dimly in their shy retreats, or glancing at each other cheerful looks like separated stars with clouds between. What want we? Have we not perpetual streams, warm woods and sunny hills, and fresh green fields, and mountains not less green, and flocks and herds, and thickets of songsters, and the voice of lordly birds, an unexpected sound heard now and then from morn to latest eve, admonishing the man who walks below of solitude and silence in the sky? These have we, and 1,000 nooks of earth have also these, but nowhere else is found, nowhere, or is it fancy, can be found the one sensation that is here. 'Tis here, here as it found its way into my heart in childhood, here it abides by day, by night, here only, or in chosen minds that take it with them hence, wherever they go. 'Tis but I cannot name it, 'tis the sense of majesty and beauty and repose, a blended holiness of earth and sky, something that makes this individual spot, this small abiding place of many men, a termination and a last retreat, a centre, come from wheresoever you will, a whole without dependence or defect, made for itself and happy in itself, perfect contentment, unity entire. Bleak season was it, turbulent and bleak, when hitherward we journeyed side by side through burst of sunshine and through flying showers. Pace the long vales, how long they were, and yet how fast that length of way was left behind. Wensley's rich vale, and Sedbern naked heights. The frosty wind, as if to make amends for its keen breath, was aiding to our steps, and drove us onward like two ships at sea, or like two birds, companions in mid-air, parted and reunited by the blast. Stern was the face of nature, we rejoiced in that stern countenance, for our souls thence drew a feeling of their strength. The naked trees, the icy brooks, as on we passed, appeared to question us. Whence come ye? To what end? They seemed to say, What would ye, said the shower, wild wanderers, whither through my dark domain? The sunbeam said, Be happy. When this vale we entered, bright and solemn was the sky that faced us with a passionate welcoming, and led us to our threshold. Daylight failed insensibly, and round us gently fell composing darkness, with a quiet load of full contentment, in a little shed disturbed, uneasy in itself as it seemed, and wondering at its new inhabitants. It loves us now, this vale so beautiful begins to love us. By a sullen storm, 2 months unwearied of severest storm, it put the temper of our minds to proof, and found us faithful through the gloom, and heard the poet mutter his prelusive songs with cheerful heart, an unknown voice of joy among the silence of the woods and hills, silent to any gladsomeness of sound with all their shepherds. But the gates of spring are opened, churlish winter hath given leave that she should entertain for this one day, perhaps for many genial days to come, his guests, and make them jocund. They are pleased, but most of all the birds that haunt the flood with the mid-summons, inmates though they be of winter's household. They keep festival this day, who drooped, or seemed to droop, so long. They show their pleasure, and shall I do less? Happier of happy though I be, like them I cannot take possession of the sky, mount with a thoughtless impulse, and wheel there one of a mighty multitude, whose way is a perpetual harmony and dance magnificent. Behold with a grace of ceaseless motion that might scarcely seem inferior to angelical, they prolong their curious pastime, shaping in mid-air, and sometimes with ambitious wing that soars high as the level of the mountain tops, a circuit ampler than the lake beneath, their own domain, but ever, while intent on tracing and retracing that large round, their jubilant activity evolves hundreds of curves and circlets, to and fro, upwards and downwards, progress intricate yet unperplexed, as if one spirit swayed their indefatigable flight. 'Tis done. 10 times and more I fancied it had ceased, but lo! the vanished company again ascending, they approach. I hear their wings faint at first, and then an eager sound passed in a moment, and as faint again. They tempt the sun to sport among their plumes, tempt the smooth water, or the gleaming ice, to show them a fair image. 'Tis themselves, their own fair forms upon the glimmering plain painted more soft and fair as they descend, almost to touch, then up again aloft, up with a sally and a flash of speed, as if they scorned both resting place and rest. This day is a thanksgiving, 'tis a day of glad emotion and deep quietness, not upon me alone hath been bestowed, me rich in many onward looking thoughts, the penetrating bliss. Oh, surely these have felt it, not the happy choirs of spring, her own peculiar family of love that sport among green leaves, a blither train, but 2 are missing, 2, a lonely pair of milk-white swans. Wherefore are they not seen partaking this day's pleasure? From afar they came, to sojourn here in solitude, choosing this valley, they who had the choice of the whole world. We saw them day by day, through those 2 months of unrelenting storm, conspicuous at the centre of the lake, their safe retreat. We knew them well. I guess that the whole valley knew them, but to us they were more dear than may be well believed, not only for their beauty, and their still and placid way of life, and constant love inseparable, not for these alone, but that their state so much resembled ours, they having also chosen this abode, they strangers and we strangers, they a pair and we a solitary pair like them. They should not have departed. Many days did I look forth in vain, nor on the wing could I see them, nor in that small open space of blue unfrozen water, where they lodged and lived so long in quiet, side by side. Shall we behold them consecrated friends, faithful companions, yet another year surviving, they for us and we for them, and neither pair be broken? Nay, perchance it is too late already for such hope. The dalesmen may have aimed the deadly tube And parted them, or haply both are gone One death, and that were mercy given to both. Recall my song the ungenerous thought, forgive, Thrice favoured the region, the conjecture harsh Of such inhospitable penalty Inflicted upon confidence so pure. Pages 1 through 18. Recording by Andrea Fiore.